In today's video, we're going to perfect your D Taorluath. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, I'm Willis Bagpiper, and on this channel I make videos to make you a stronger and more confident piper. If you like this kind of content, please think about giving the video a like, subscribing to the channel, and commenting below with any thoughts you might have. I also give Skype and online lessons if you want more personalized instruction, but more on that later. Before we worry about the D Taorluath, if you don't know what Taorluaths are or you need to get your overall Taorluath technique down, I implore you, check that video out and get that down first. I think it's best you have a strong, solid foundation in your regular Taorluaths before you go to this rather peculiar and somewhat challenging variation. The D Taorluath, the bane of many pipers' existence. And what exactly makes the D Taorluath so tricky? Instead of a D Gracenote separating your two low Gs, it's a B-Gracenote. That's right, that bottom ring finger. We don't really like moving that one very readily. But today, in this exercise, we're going to build it up slowly so that you can more confidently play this rather challenging embellishment. In the description below, there's a link to the PDF document I have here. So go ahead, print that out, put it on a tablet, have it in front of you so you can follow along. If you look at the sheet here, you can see that in many of the lines, I have a triangular note head on some of these Bs. Why is that? Well, I wanted a way to show that I want you to play a not real B. I want you, in this case, where you see that triangular note head from low G, we're going to go up to a single finger B, just the ring finger. We will leave the pinky down for all of these occurrences of the B that has that triangular note head. We're kind of emulating that B-Gracenote, but we're doing so first openly so that we can start building the strength and dexterity in that ring finger. Now, why does the D Taorluath have a B-Gracenote? I have a couple of theories on it, but to be honest, we don't know. It's been lost to time. No one chose to write it down, or if they did, they didn't tell me, so it is what it is. The D Taorluath has a B-Gracenote in it. So for this first line here, it's really just a warm-up to get this finger working. You can see in this first measure, we're starting on a low G, and we're going to go up to a B on the next beat. So one beat on low G, one beat with just the B finger in the air. Again, pinky staying down, bringing the ring finger back down, and then back up on 4 even beats. Then moving into the second measure, we're going to then hold that low G for a beat and a half and turn that B into an eighth note. So it'll be only up for a half of a beat before we go to a set of even eighth notes, speeding the whole thing up, but again, keeping it even at first. So half a beat each on low G and the single finger B, before then going to a pointed low G, 3/4 of a beat to 1/4 of the beat with that B finger up, to finally that last bar where we're going to do just B Gracenotes, trying to get out nice, closed, chirpy Gracenotes if we can. But for right now, we're going to do each bar or measure separately. So the first measure goes like this. Ready, go. Even low Gs and single finger Bs. The second measure. Again, holding that first note a beat and a half, and then half a beat on that single finger B with that weird note head. Now, the third measure, we're going to be going back and forth between a set of even notes and pointed notes. It'll make sense as you hear it. And then finally, just B-Gracenotes on low G. Or you can string them all together like this. Ready, go. So now that that ring finger should be warmed up and working a little bit better, it's time to move on to actually building the embellishment itself. Given the unusual time signatures I'm using here, I'm going to have this on just one beat per measure. I'm just interested in staying on the beat. I can't put this at 7/4 on this particular metronome. It's not a problem. Stay on the beat. We're going to be giving this first note here in the slowly building your D Taorluath. We're going to give the first note 2 beats, G-Gracenote to a D. We'll head down to a low G for 1 full beat, up to that single finger B for 1 full beat, down to low G for another full beat, and then an E-Gracenote to an A for 2 beats, and we'll do that twice. Ready, go. When that's going well, let's move on to the next line. This time, we're going to still be on that first D for 2 full beats before heading down to a low G, but now they're 8th notes. So we'll be an 8th note, low G, an 8th note, single finger B, and then we will go down to the second B for a full beat before heading up to an A with an E-Gracenote. Let's give it a go. Ready, go. For the third line in this section of the exercise, we're now going to, again, continue to hold that D for 2 beats, but now we're going to head down to the low G for a 3/4 beat long low G, and then a 1/4 beat long 16th note single finger B, before again heading to a full beat on low G, and again an E-Gracenote to a 2 beat A, and we'll do that twice again. Let's try it. Ready, go. Now for this next line, we are going to, again, D for 2 beats, G-Gracenote to a D, but here we're going to play an even triplet rhythm. We're going to fit the low G, the single finger B, and the next low G all across 1 beat evenly. D, triplet A, D, dot, 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 dot. Try to keep all 3 notes exactly even. You don't want to try to weight one more than another if you can help it. Ready, go. It's starting to sound a little bit more like a Taorluath, and hopefully you're getting some speed and clarity out of that B-Gracenote. Don't let it get too tight right now. I'd rather have a little bit more lift than too little. It will dial in over time. This is a tricky finger to get going, guys, so take your time with this. Stop at any one of these when they stop working. Don't just keep working through the page. If this triplet one didn't come out cleanly or accurately, slow the metronome down or even go back up to the line above it. There's no point in just hammering ugly D Taorluaths out with that B-Gracenote if they're not working. Get them slow, clean, and accurate. That is always the first step. So in this line, now finally, we're going to start holding that first D for a little bit less. So in this line, we're going to hold the D for a beat and a half. So G-Gracenote to a dotted 1/4 note D, then down to low G, B-Gracenote to another low G. So finally being written as a B-Gracenote separating 2 16th notes. So just half of the beat for those 2 low Gs added together, or a 1/4 of a beat each. And then an E-Gracenote again taking you to the A. Ready, go. And to be honest, that's more or less full speed. They'll get just slightly quicker. So really the next line, you'll see there's a half note D, fully written out Taorluath with that B-Gracenote in it, to an A that's also a half note, but it's largely going to be played like the one above it. Ready, go. And then finally, the only difference on this bottom line now is that we're going to be playing just each note for 1 beat. In fact, the Taorluath steals its time from the note before. So in the case of this 1/4 note, it's not even going to be a full 1/4 note long. We have to take both of those low Gs and that B-Gracenote away from that first D. So that first D is going to be probably just past half a beat long, Taorluath to a low A, and we'll do it a couple of times in a row. And yeah, after all of this, I'm feeling that in the ring finger, and you probably will be too. You do this A few days in a row, though, I'll promise you, the embellishment will start coming along, and that finger is going to start getting a lot stronger pretty quickly. So there you go, everybody. The D Taorluath, a rather bare of an embellishment, but one that shows up in many a P-Rock, and I assume a few light tunes, including one I called the TERRORLUATH, a link to my tune TERRORLUATH, right up in that corner. And it's got plenty of D Taorluaths in it if you wanted to give that one a go. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you got something out of the video, please think about giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, and commenting below with any thoughts you might have. If you're enjoying this content and want to help support the channel, head over to my Patreon, and a special shout out to Miss Carrie Tresack and Mr. Michael Dingus, my #1 supporters. But you'll see names now, folks, scrolling up. These are people that support the channel monthly. I'd love to add your name to this list. You often get early access to videos and other perks, so go check out my Patreon. I also teach Skype and online lessons. Go ahead and head over to www.commandyourbagpipe.com or email me at the address you see down here, and we'll get you going. I'm working with folks from all over the planet, and I hope to work with you soon. I do have a line of bagpipe merchandise, including the Command Your Bagpipe line and the new prescription bagpipe line right here, like this fine mug. But there's shirts, hats, hoodies, all sorts of things. So head to the merch store and let the world know that you command your bagpipe. Well, again, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm Matt Willis, and until next time, cheers.